get it.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
And joined by another member of the SDP family, please welcome Leo, who looks exactly not like Steve. Exactly.
No. Exactly. He looks like my brother-in-law. Leo,
Yeah.
Can we get a smile for everybody? Bubble, guppy, guppies. Bubble, guppy, guppies. That usually works. Bubble, guppies. Nothing?
People listening to this must be so confused.
Yeah, well,
It's a show called Bubble Guppies, and it's great. How does the Miss Persona theme song go? I forgot. How
are
does
you
it
on
go?
the Wiggles yet? Are you doing the Wiggles?
Oh, a little bit of the Wiggles. Emma's his girlfriend. I don't know if you know that.
Everybody loves Emma. Emma's a rock star.
That's Leo's girlfriend.
Is Emma a member of the Wiggles?
She's
Yes.
the yellow Wiggle. She got the yellow shirt on.
Okay.
And so they went through Jesse. There's like a documentary on the Wiggles. It's so fascinating. They started off as like a new wave punk band in Australia, and then a couple of the members formed this kids band, and they started touring, and then they became the Wiggles and then they got a TV show and a whole bunch of things. And anyway, they've been doing it for like 25 years, and 3 of the 4 guys said, "Okay, we're going to retire." So they did this enormous goodbye to the original members at like a stadium full of like 20,000 people in Australia. And then so they bring on Lockie, Emma, and I forget what the third guy's name is. I feel so bad. Anyway, so they bring in these new guys, and they've got Anthony, who's one of the originals. And I guess the Australians like flat out rejected them. Like they'd be doing tours, and they were like, "No, like I'm not going to that show." They said it was like when a band gets on the other side of their career, and it's like, well, we were playing to half empty houses and blah blah blah. And then somehow they were able to kind of turn the corner, make a whole batch of new songs, and now they're on like Netflix and everything, and they tour the entire world. So and Emma is by far the most popular Wiggle there has ever been. It's not even close.
Boo,
it's like Elvis,
like
She's
the new
huge.
Wiggles.
Yeah, she's
Boo the Wiggles.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Imagine.
Oh, get the old guys back. Like they're old, man. They want to retire.
Yeah. Also, the kids watching it don't know. They don't know the old people.
Exactly.
There's a song they do know. They get over it.
There's a song called "Wake Up, Lockie" because he keeps falling asleep. Lachlan, and if I put on, I have a little Alexa for Ebby. So you can do like white noise, you can do music, you can do all those things because those noisemakers for kids are like, the white noisemakers are like $100, and you buy an Alexa for $20 and you put it in the room and it does the exact same thing plus all the other shit.
Plus, it's also a smart home.
Yeah, exactly. So anywhere in my house, I can say, "Hey, play this in Everly's room," and it'll play. So just a pro tip for parents, don't waste your money on any of that Fisher-Price Toys R Us stuff. Go get an Alexa and use it in the room, and it's so much easier. But sometimes they'll play the older Wiggles song. So this "Wake Up Lockie" song is "Wake Up Tim." I'm like, who the hell is Tim? Who is this Tim?
You ever heard of Tim?
That's an old song, and they just swapped in the new person's name?
Right, that's right.
It's
a cover.
Okay. No, I'm on the other people's side. You can't do that.
Are you pro
It's gotta
Tim?
be like,
You got to write a new song.
well, they be like Blue's Clues, where they've redone everything.
Yeah.
Did they at least use the theme song?
No, it's a different theme song now.
No,
It's a new show completely.
New show.
Why?
Steve is still the executive producer.
Cool.
And so is what was the other guy? Joe. And now it's Josh. And Leo, I got to tell you, I got to work a little bit to get him to smile, as you saw earlier in the show. The second Josh comes on the screen, Leo's just like, "That's my guy. That's my guy, Josh." I think it's a tie between Blue's Clues and Bubble Guppies.
Okay.
I think for his favorite show. I think Bubble Guppies keeps his attention the best.
They even have a new dog, right?
No, it's still Blue. Are you thinking about Blue's friend Magenta?
No, I'm pretty sure the original Blue would not survive this amount of time,
Wow.
No.
Okay, we don't.
They must have had a new Blue by now.
Wow.
This couldn't be this is like Lassie, it wasn't the original, or Air Bud.
Yeah.
The original Airbud volleyball or whatever.
In Golden Receiver, he would have been a senior at least.
Yeah. Not doing
Leo,
those jumps.
Jesse's a liar. That's what you need to know about Uncle Jesse is he's a liar. He's got his hockey pants. You see that?
Yeah. Well, so if you're watching the YouTube feed, Steve's wearing the Ryan Reynolds gift sweater thing, which is so beautiful.
That I'm
it's
taking
a great
off
sweater.
So soon. I'm so hot right now.
And of course, Leo's there too.
Leo's got to go.
Yeah, because he's
say bye-bye.
Bye, buddy.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Oh, man. He's growing so fast.
Say bye-bye. He's 6 months yesterday. Here we go.
Yeah, Ev is...
Everybody.
Ev just hit 18 months.
Iggy, you going to stay? Iggy's staying.
All right.
Everly's 18 months?
18 months. Yeah.
Gee.
Well, actually, she'll be 19 months on the 31st. So, she's 5 months away from 2 years old.
Wow.
When do you stop the months?
I think at 2. Well, I think after 1, it's like 1, 1.5, 2, and then it's just 2, 3, 4, isn't it?
I don't know. You tell me, Dad.
I'm not gonna
new to this.
My kid's 2.5. I'll just say they're 2 until they're 3. That's we don't need to get into. Everybody's like, oh, they're 36 months, they're 38 months. No one knows what that means. Just give them the give me a year.
Months am I? What is?
Do you say you're 32 and a half, Steve? Because you are. Well, you're
no. You stop. You stop adding the halves.
Okay, that's
no. I'm 32 until I'm 33.
Like that.
I know.
I might remember your one punch in the face a year law.
Yeah.
If you walked
one legal punch,
If you walked around and said I'm 32 and a half, I might use my one punch.
Legal.
Like that's terrible.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're correct.
A grown adult saying that.
I do like the one legal punch. I do think it's, the more I think about it, there's some wisdom there.
It's a great platform.
Sure is.
Think of how honest it would keep society. We'd have to put some parameters on it. You'd get a warning. It's not
get a
like
punch card. You got to get a punch card though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we should maybe have a limit on you can only be punched so many times. And it's like a coffee card, right? And you get a little hole punch every time.
Yep.
Something like that. It's good law. I'm telling you.
It is a good law.
If you're Ben Shapiro, how many times is he allowed to be hit?
You're gonna die.
Does one person get the punch?
No, I think you should only be able to take one legal punch as well.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you can't stack punches on someone. That's not as much as I think Ben is the worst.
It's like a vaccination card.
I wouldn't want him to get pummeled. I don't want that for anybody.
It's one per person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Whoever
legal.
claims
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Take one, give one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's interesting. And then what if your friends agree? All right, I want to use my one legal punch. And you go, oh, I wanted to use it on him too. On that. Then you got to discuss amongst yourself, who punches harder.
There's only, I think, one way to solve that. And that's the legal way and fair for everybody is rock, paper, scissors. If you don't you just do best of 3, rock, paper, scissors. It's, you have one of the Guinness people there to verify it. And that's the person that wins. It doesn't matter how hard they punch. It's equality.
You don't do it with your hands. We're writing it down in an envelope and then you seal it and then you hand it to the other person. And then you open it and it says rock.
Oh,
paper. So there's no you showed your hand a little quicker. Redo. We're writing it down. We're doing it official.
There's no review for
crossing the plane. No. In the air.
Hey, does the NHL listen to this podcast, by the way? Because I think
100%.
I think we just won. I think we did the rule change, guys. We'll get to it in a second.
They shouldn't be listening to this podcast for advice because you know what just happened?
What happened?
For everyone watching the YouTube version, you've been watching me kind of touch my face and play with my hands going, what the I just realized the water bottle I'm using for this show today is the water bottle my wife uses to water the Christmas tree.
So it's a little piney.
It's covered in sap, and now it's all over my face and hands, and now my mouth tastes like pine.
Have you heard of a more Steve thing to happen on Christmas?
No, but now I'll never drop anything.
That's
the
right.
rest of the show.
Now, okay, so we've got great news. The NHL has released all their important dates for the year, which is fantastic. The Leafs and Canadiens kick it off on the 13th, 2021. Very excited. There's new divisions. There's new matchups. NBC actually has an article about their Dream Stanley Cup matchups. One of the teams that made their Dream Stanley Cup matchup, because a lot of Eastern versus Eastern and Western versus Western conference teams can now make it, right? Which is kind of neat. Can make the finals and play each other. One Canadian team made their list, and the team that made their list is, I want to pump the brakes on this team. Before we get going.
I know 100%
because it's outrageous, the hype around this team. And sure, maybe they got better, but it's a little outrageous, the hype around this team. You think Toronto's hype is big? Is what I have to say about that. And I think you'll agree. They haven't earned a damn thing yet. But let's talk about this for a second. Okay. So the NHL is back. And it's funny that, did you see?
Do you think it's funny how?
I think it's funny how. I find it funny that when the NHL finally did announce their dates, there wasn't like, when you get into the preseason in September and you start that excitement builds and it builds and it builds. Did you ever get the sense that people like on this particular time were like, okay, finally we have an answer? Like fans seem exhausted.
No, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And when Adam's not that interested in how much.
Can you close the door?
He left. So Adam just walked out of the podcast mid question. But Steve, answer it, please.
Sorry, go ahead. I just pretend I'm not here.
So no, it's a mess. Especially like here in Ontario, you got Leaf fans, you got Sens fans, you got fans of a bunch of other teams, and like in Canada, in most parts of Canada right now, our priorities are a little caught up. Because we don't know if we're even going to be able to go anywhere or see anybody or go to stores or anything. And then they're doing this weird trickle of news one by one at like the busiest time of the year. When even if COVID wasn't going on, people's priorities are just different.
Right.
There's there's hockey news today. There's like a bunch of signings and it's December 23rd.
Yeah.
It's December 23rd. You know how many Habs fans are going to tune in January 13th and go, when did Frolik get here?
That's a good point.
Who's 67? That's hilarious. But Frolik, when did we get him? Halla's on the Preds again.
And Granlund. Yeah.
Two guys who I always mistake for the other.
Yeah.
For some reason.
And then there's Granlund, and there's a few Granlunds, and they're both Michael Granlund. Like, you know what I mean?
Several. They're both M Granlund. It's just it feels like when the NBA season was announced. This is it, and it was all at once. Mm-hmm. And there were a few things that needed to trickle out, but that was it. It was most of the news we were waiting on was like transaction, like. Harden is still an interesting story that I'm following, but like Giannis gets re-signed and I mean, that's it really. Yeah. So now like we know the seasons they played a game yesterday that counted. They're playing the Raptors start their season tonight. The NHL has 5 teams who as of yet do not have a confirmed home arena. 4 of them are in Canada. There's this super cool North Division, this all-Canadian division that a lot of hockey fans, including myself, are excited about, and more than half of the teams don't have a confirmed home arena for their games that are in like 2 weeks.
Was the North Division a bad idea in terms of should they have just had the Canadian teams play in the US? And
I think it was a money thing.
That's so hard. Like, because we're talking about a money issue, right? So teams are going to ads on helmets for the first time. Let's say there's 30 players, some odd, plus trainers, plus coaches. For simplicity's sake, we'll say teams are traveling around with 40 guys. You got to have room and board for 40 guys for minimum 4 months. And that's going to save you money? How big are your helmets? You're going to have to sell a lot more than one Capital One ad.
Steve or I size. There'd be a lot of advertising space.
The league is full of Adam, Jesse, or I, or JVR.
Does Jesse have a big head?
I do have a large head.
Yeah. Jesse has an underratedly large head. If
I have a long head.
Side. Yeah.
Oh, a long head.
Okay. And I have like
the moon, the John Kerry moon-shaped head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I just don't. I don't know how it's financially feasible for that many teams to do that. If it's the Raptors, it's one thing. That's one team. and they happen to be owned by like a super rich corporation.
Yeah, but then you do this, and then what if it ends up they're all playing in different spots anyways? What if Ontario?
You got to try.
You
got to try.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see.
I think it'd be interesting if, like, to me, what would make sense in Ontario is if you don't have the hub city be a major city. Like, what if Belleville or Kingston, they've got arenas there. You just need a sheet of ice, right? You don't really, no one's going to be there. So why don't you just use that?
You need the facilities to be NHL quality, though.
I guess, yeah.
And also,
London would
families.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the playoff bubble where you tell guys, okay, you're going to be here 2 months max.
This is 4 months.
This is 4 months plus playoffs, right? So what happens if you make the Stanley Cup final? You're not going to see your family from January to July? That's not in my contract.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of guys who are going to be down for that. Or there are some guys who are like, I'm single and I don't care. I can't wait to see all these fun places and go out and hit the town. Oh, wait. Can't do that. Or at least the NHL is wagging its finger and going, we're strongly discouraging that you do that. Which is
like
another
steroids.
can of worms.
We don't like it. We're not going to check, but we don't like it.
We're not fans of the steroids. We're not fans of that thing that makes you stronger and faster and sell our product.
I remember
that's
there was
why
an argument.
we crack down on exactly one person per year.
I remember
it's always one.
It is always one. They have to. Well, you got to keep up appearances. But what's interesting is that, like, I remember in the I think it was the early 2000s, late 90s, there was like a news report, and a bunch of NHL GMs were like, "Well, steroids wouldn't even help an NHL player. Like, you got to look at what an NHL."
Okay.
The way the game is played is very different from swimming or football or baseball. You don't want to get all bulky, and because that's what the perception at the time was, that the only thing steroids did was make you big and bulky, and that is not true. And also, there's a ton of players that need to get big and bulky, but
it's also that's not what it does.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lance Armstrong was not big and bulky.
No, he rode a bike.
No, Martin St. Louis looked like a Tour de France cyclist from the waist down, and like a boxer from the waist up. Like, he's just, but no.
By the way,
muscle would not help.
You know who else looks like Marty St. Louis? Sean McKenzie.
Right?
Those gams?
I thought you were about to say Austin Matthews, and then I remembered the other most jacked person.
Sean McKenzie. Built.
What the heck? Whoa! I was like, damn, Sean, those are some legs. That's what I'm saying.
He infuriates me because you can tell it was just one day he decided, I'm fit now. And, like, I remember it, like, on Instagram. He's like, I think I'm gonna start to get fit, and I'm like, that mother.
And then
like,
he didn't do it. Yeah.
In like 3 months, he's like, all right, like, I got my Canadian Olympic uniform in the mail. They haven't told me what event I'm competing in, but I'm sure I'll succeed at it.
Yeah. Like, Adam Vancouvered was at his house just giving him tips.
Yeah.
As one does.
Made that up, but yeah.
Adam Vancouvered, Canadian kayaker and member of parliament.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Did he win gold?
He did.
He won gold, and he's like,
he won a couple Olympics, right?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
At least 2 or 3.
And I think he won a ton of world championships too.
Uh-huh.
He's good at the yak.
Very good at the yak. And I think Sean is doing, forgive me, Sean, I don't know what fundraiser Sean is doing right now. Can we look that up? Because the reason he was showing off the dem legs is he's doing a Cycle for Charity, and a bunch of his cohort at Sportsnet were helping him spread the message. So it was
I will read it to you right now.
Please do.
This is a tweet from Sean McKenzie. It says, "Who wants to watch me struggle for a great cause? I hate running. I suck at swimming. And this is the first bike I've owned in 15 years. So I've signed up for Ironman 70.3 in July. You can enjoy my training struggles, but it will come at a cost. I will be raising money for sick kids."
Nice.
So
I love that.
All right. Me too. I'm not freaking going anywhere, though.
Yeah. I would.
No, I'm so jealous of people who can do what he does, man.
I know. It's amazing. And he looks great and good for him. But it just,
He looks like Jack Bob.
We're jealous.
Yeah, a little bit. I think we're allowed to be. Are we not? We're allowed to be jealous.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sean, fantastic legs. Well done, sir. And best of luck with the Ironman, because there's no way, there are things in my life that I really want to do. that would be like under the bottom. That would be in the basement of lists, the things that I would want to do. I have no interest in a marathon, triathlon. All the respect to people that do, not a chance in hell. No thanks.
I did Tough Mudder once, which is why I haven't done Tough Mudder twice. But I've done it once.
Heard it was fun.
I got the shirt. I still have the shirt. So everyone can think I'm jacked and I do it all the time.
Did you write your time on the shirt so everybody could know?
No. What's that about, Adam? What's that about?
I love when people are like, yo, this is my max. Like they do like a fitness camp thing and then they have to write their like stats down. And then it's like, these are my max squats. These are my max bench. It's like, oh man, you were such a man. Like, holy.
The only time I did that.
Get over here and do me. You are such a man.
I did do that once, so I will go over there and do you. Because I did that for the CN Tower climb.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's like for charity and it's a walk. Come on.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It wasn't a walk for me.
Did you run
hauled ass. I 16:45.
There you go.
All the way to the top.
How many, for people that don't know, how many floors?
Oh my God. It's I think it's 144 flights of stairs.
6 flights of stairs, Cassie.
6
flights of stairs. Steve ran the whole time.
16 minutes.
We raised money for Fisher Price. You guys are dicks.
Oh man, that's funny.
It's 144 flights.
Okay. So let's get to the NHL dates that matter here. Okay, here's what you need to know about the upcoming season. December 31st, training camps open for the 7 teams that did not participate in the return to play plan. So we've got loser teams 1 through 7: Anaheim, Buffalo, Detroit, LA, New Jersey, Ottawa, and San Jose. Those are your losers. And then January 3rd, training camp opens for the other 24 teams. And then January 13th, regular season begins. Each of the 8 teams in the East, Central, and West divisions will play each other in their division 8 times. And each team in the North division, 7 teams based on the Canadian teams, will play each other 9 or 10 times.
Awesome.
April 12th, the day before my birthday, 3 days after Jesse's, we have a trade deadline. So it's not that much later than the normal trade deadline, like a month and a half. Not much.
It's pushed back a bit.
That's normally when the playoffs start. Right around there. So that's kind of neat. End of regular season is the 8th of May. May 11th, the Stanley Cup playoffs begin. The top 4 teams in each division will qualify for the playoffs. First 2 rounds will be interdivisional. The first place team will play the 4th place team, and the second place team will play the 3rd place team. Wow, how crazy is that? The 4 teams that advance from the second round to the semifinal will be seeded by their points total in the regular season. You know, like it should be done.
So that's fun because we're guaranteed to have a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup semifinals.
That's cool. Love that.
The Final 4 will consist of a Canadian team no matter what.
Love.
I think it's very funny because I saw some people going, oh, of course they did that for Canada. Like the NHL probably came to that decision kicking and screaming. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They're not rigging this to have the Edmonton Oilers in the Eastern, whatever the hell it's called, conference final.
Let's also hold on.
They want the same. They want Chicago. They want Boston. They want New York.
LA.
Who paid,
LA? Come on, guys.
What country paid $4 billion for the NHL rights?
The country above the one that would go, ooh, $4 billion.
Yeah. Okay. So this country loves hockey so much. We paid as much as Disney did for Star Wars for the NHL.
Oh
Disney paid $4 billion for Lucasfilm.
They're the same. Those are the same number.
What? Yes. In retrospect, Lucasfilm was the better bet. But
Sportsnet should have bought Star Wars.
They should have bought Star Wars.
Can you imagine?
But
hi, I'm Carolyn Cameron, and welcome to tonight's screening of Rogue One. I would watch that. And she's got the buns, a lightsaber. Yep. I would watch that.
Yep. Absolutely. Right. I think what would be a great, we were talking about a little while ago, what would be great for first intermission, because obviously headlines, I think you need to move to the first intermission, but I understand why they keep it in the second intermission to keep people around. It's a great segment. The first one should be head-to-head lightsaber battles to the death. So, you have to I want to see Berkey with a lightsaber. I want to see David Amber with a lightsaber. I feel like David Amber would be the sleeper to win that.
He doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't even. Well, because David Amber has been fit forever. Then you got Sean McKenzie, who's newish fit, jacked. So you see the two of them go at it. Who wins, right? Is it the experience the grizzled vet in David Amber, or is it the young upstart in Sean McKenzie?
It's going to be the young calf.
You think so?
They
Or
just fight
calves in
stepbrother
Sean's
style.
case.
Hey, you see?
Hey.
See, because
Anyway,
it's part of the leg.
the last
Actions.
the last possible day for the Stanley Cup final, July 9th. The deadline for teams to submit their protected list for the 2021 expansion draft is 5 p.m. July 17th. 4 days later,
that's happening this year.
Yeah. 4 days later, on the 21st, you will get the 2021 NHL expansion draft, which will happen at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet. And then you've got the first round of 2021's NHL draft 2 days later. The 2 to 7 will be the 24th. And then 28th, restricted and unrestricted free agent signings begin right before the long weekend at 12 Eastern Standard. And you can expect one Mr. Dangle to be completely July's toast for you, by the way. It's toast.
But I look at that and I go, God, that's fun.
It's going to be great.
That's a lot of fun. That's going to be great. As long as it doesn't, like hockey people are impossible to get a hold of in August as it is.
Yeah.
They're all, they're just going to throw their phone in the pool.
So do you start the next season then in October? I wonder.
I think you start to try to get it back on track. You might start a few weeks late. Because if you're the NHLPA, like what's your magic number for the amount of weeks you need off guaranteed?
I would say 8.
8?
I need 8 weeks. Because you think maybe you want 12, but what I would say too is for the PA, this is a great opportunity for them to say, okay, shorter training camps, guys. Because the training camps, why are they a month long? They don't need to be a month long.
The Leafs played, I believe it was 9 preseason games last year.
You don't need to do that.
Stupidity. Enough. 3. All right. 3, maybe 2.
Yep. And really,
there you go. You make up a whole week.
Are we going to pretend that these coaches and these GMs don't already kind of know?
They know. How many players around the NHL are we talking about that this makes a difference for?
I don't know who wins it in the last game. Maybe a goalie or two. I don't know, man.
All you're doing is getting guys hurt. I think that's what you're doing. You're playing more games and guys show you what they got in the more games that you have because your star players are getting hurt.
Yeah, or they're not playing anyway.
Every year. It's some stupid crap like Jack Eichel, ruins his knee and there's the season. Tuck it in, it's done.
Yeah. I'm getting to the point now where I'm almost like if you're from a mathematical perspective, and I'd be curious to get a stats person on this, what could be the possible rationale for ever dressing a superstar in those games? Even if it takes them 2 or 3 real games to really warm up, who cares? Like, I would rather them warming up in real games than in a preseason game where it doesn't matter. Wouldn't you? Like, their timing's a little off or whatever. Okay, fine. It's 3-4 games. I wouldn't want to dress if I'm Buffalo. Taylor Hall and Jack Eichel are not seeing the ice in the preseason.
You don't let them in the building. You don't put them in a place where they can see the building.
Nope. They're going to go to Jack Eichel's restaurant and they're going to eat precisely for 21 minutes. And then they're going to go back and do whatever the heck else is on his itinerary, which is so insane. You know what? Remember that?
I do. I imagine that has been screwed up. I would have the past few months.
Probably
a little bit.
Oh man, he's gonna have to push outside of that comfort zone. Now, Steve mentioned it earlier. Obviously, the NHL and Elliot Friedman actually put out a great article this morning at Sportsnet and talked about just how the NHL is going to go hard at finding new revenue. Which, it's funny. In retrospect, their job is to make money, right? That's your job. And the NHL signed like a piddly little $25 million deal for gambling rights. You can bet the next time that comes up, it's going to be like 10 times that.
You can bet, Adam?
Hey. In fact, I would place a bet in Vegas if it was available. But they should be, if the NHL really maximized its potential in advertising and in just flat out, in gambling and that sort of thing, there wouldn't be money problems. If they really went hard at this, and it seems like the impetus is now there. Anybody that was standing in the way of there being advertising on jerseys and advertising on helmets, obviously you've seen what a boon it's been for the NBA, and you've got 10 to 15 teams that are barely passing or losing a lot of money. Why? You don't need to do that. You don't need to have that.
Now,
and there's a lot of rich teams going, we're making all these equalization payments, but we're not doing all we can as a league to make as much money as possible. And we should jump on that.
But there are concerns, Adam, because people go, well, you allow one ad on a helmet, then all of a sudden you get an ad on the jersey, and then it's 5, 6, 7 ads on the jersey, and then you become a European team.
If Manchester United's main logo on their jersey can be the Chevrolet logo, like, I don't care.
I don't either.
Put ads on the jerseys. Who cares?
I had a Man U jersey just because I thought it looked cool when I was younger, because I'm an idiot. And I remember being like, is their nickname Vodafone? What's Vodafone? Like, I didn't know what Vodafone was. It's not a thing here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, exactly, Jesse. That's a very good point. Now, I don't want it covered like some Austrian league team or whatever.
But Austrian league teams are barely scraping by.
All right.
It's not the same. And it's
not the same, and it's not going to happen.
Seeing what the Devils have done and what the Capitals have done, it's clear that the mandate is it can't look ridiculous, and you need to incorporate your advertising into our uniform and not the other way around.
Right.
Because sorry, what? Jesse?
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, you have to give these people more credit. Like, they know what they're working with. They're not going to put a Squarespace logo on top of the Montreal Canadiens logo. Like, they know what they have, and they're going to be reasonable about things.
I hope they do that to the Montreal Canadiens logo. I hope it's right over top of it.
Right on top of it.
Can't even see it. It's just peeking out the corners. That's what I'm hoping.
The
Bruins
NBA
play with the TD Bank.
Yeah.
Tattooed on Marchand's face. Let's go.
It's right there.
The NBA did it a couple of years ago, and it was all very reasonable. And now it's just a part of the jersey.
Yeah. And then you know the jersey's vintage based on which sponsor's on it too. Is it Rakuten? Is it something else? Like, what is it?
They have a different jersey every year anyway. And like, what is more annoying to you? A jersey on your team's helmet, or talk of work stoppages every 4 years? I'll tell you what mine is. Like, guys, people like don't go to Panthers games, for example. Like, you got to get supplemental income. There's all these teams. I'm sick of every year talking about a different team for relocation, or no one's going to this game. Guys, it's such a small sacrifice. I don't think it's going to be a slippery slope to anything. It's a slippery slope to the league that produces the thing you like staying afloat, which is difficult this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Stop crying.
I don't care.
Stop crying.
I really don't care.
It'll be okay.
No, man.
I promise it'll be okay. Like,
man, I want this league to do well. As much as we go, oh my God, I can't believe they're making this choice or that one. This is one that really you can't disagree with from a financial perspective. And it's not going to like, okay, if you look at an EPL jersey, the Manchester United logo is this big. The Chevrolet logo is this big. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not, they're not going to that. It's okay.
Now, you do got to give credit to the people who are making us think about it, though. Because the people making us think about it, they're the reason why the advertising on the helmets are subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Because in Germany, someone sent me a picture today. It's a black helmet, and they just slap like this giant white triangle with, and it says like the Spengler Cup, for example, is a great concept. It's a visual atrocity. They all the jerseys are brutal. The helmets, they dress the referees up as cows. Have you seen this? Like with black and white spots, because they have like some sort of dairy sponsor. Google it. I swear to God. Look up Spengler Cup referees. Okay. I swear to God.
Okay, but the NHL's not going to do what the Spengler does. It's like the Spengler's for your fourth line guy who wants to play internationally once he's out of the playoffs. Like, come on, we know the difference,
but I
right?
think, no, there's a pull and whatever here, pull and shove.
Pull and shove.
You need the people.
Give and take, I think, is what you're looking for.
Thank you. Give and take. There's here. Let me drink some more of this coffee here. There's the people making us think about it are the reason why it's going well. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Yeah, and you know what?
Capitals says Capital One. That makes sense.
Yeah,
and it's blue and red. That makes sense.
So for the Maple Leafs, Maple Leaf Fine Foods.
That makes sense. That's great. The Devils, Prudential Center,
Satan.
Prudential. Satan. Yeah, advertised by hell. That'd be hilarious.
South Park Satan. That would be kind of funny if South Park did that.
New Jersey Devils brought to you by Satan. That'd be great. Miroslav Shatan. It's just
go Devils, you guys.
Go Devils, you guys.
I think there's lots.
Those two sponsorships are just the arena sponsors, right? Because Capital One Arena and Prudential Center, right? So I guess the next for at least logical is just Scotiabank.
So I wonder if this is extra money or if this is replaced money. Mm-hmm. Because one thing I can't remember who came on our show, maybe it was Berkey, was talking about is like Scotiabank, for example. They had that enormous deal with MLSE to rename the Scotiabank Arena, right? Mm-hmm. And now no one's going there. No one's going there, so they're not getting their money's worth. Mm-hmm. So are the Leafs going to have to slap Scotiabank on their helmet?
Doubtful.
Are the Bruins? That's why I said TD Bank. Like, that's a very real possibility that the Bruins will have this green logo on their helmet.
And just be Jeremy Jacobs' face. Whatever I do.
Just him scowling.
Just him scowling.
Yeah,
pretending like he's got no money.
To that point, Steve.
I'm poor. I'm Jeremy Jacobs.
I'm poor. That'll be $50,000.
To that point, getting Steve, smaller this year.
I wonder if if Scotia's getting a kickback for the Raptors playing in Tampa. You know, because you don't have any of those, the 41 games or 72 divided by 2 or whatever it is.
You don't even get the over the arena shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to recapture those services if you're Scotiabank, right?
I think if they're really that broken up, but I don't think they are. But if they were, you could always just extend the deal a year and just say, listen, or a season and just say, listen, pandemic year, let's keep the payments coming. We'll lower them on the AAV and we'll extend it a year. But I think if you sign a deal like that, MLSE would have protections built in for something like this. How litigious companies like that are. And I feel like there would be protections in it. Sort of whether they play 0 games or they play all the games, you have to pay the money and that's the fee. And that's what it is.
Did you see the lawsuit by, I think it was the MLB is suing the insurance company because in their policy, they have an act of God clause where they're supposed to recoup lost revenue in case of in case of an act of God. And they were like, hey, you owe us like $1 billion for this past season, insurance company, because of all the revenue we lost. And the insurance company is like, no, we're not paying this. So now there's a lawsuit right now. I think it's in California. It's like MLB versus some insurance company that was protecting them on case of an act of God. And they're like, hey, we don't have $3 billion that you're missing. So I wonder.
They don't have the money to. They're probably it would sink the company. I bet.
Right. So I wonder how that's going to play out.
Hey, so what if we just don't have it?
Well, the thing is that at that point you have to do it in a payment plan. So you'd have to work out like a 10 or a 20-year payment plan where X amount of dollars from that insurance company is going to the MLB each year. And because you don't bankrupt
10 or 20 year.
Yeah, but you
like
don't
a world war.
Yeah, you don't bankrupt the insurance company. What you do is you make them make payments every year. So say it's $3 billion, then you've got to make a $300 million payment at the start of each year to the MLB until it's done.
Adam, what's it like being the only adult?
I don't know if that makes me an adult. I think it's just, and also this insurance company, if that's true, the way Jesse told it, they're going to lose.
So they're suing, MLB is suing AIG.
AIG's got $3 billion. Come on.
Factory
AIG.
Mutual and Interstate Fire and Casualty Company.
They may not.
So those 3 companies.
AIG for sure does. AIG's got big money.
They couldn't come up with a better name?
AIG? I think it's
Interstate Fire and Casualty Company.
I think it's probably an
horrible
state.
It's the worst name for a company I think I've ever heard.
How dare you?
Interstate Fire and Casualty Company. Hey guys, we're going to start a company and casualty is going to be in the name.
We're going to call
it get past no?
The you almost died insurance company.
Right?
You're in extreme pain insurance.
Hey, bro, someone die? Company. Like, it's a horrible name.
Our condolences, insurance.
My condolences. It's just the organist from I Think You Should Leave. It's just smashing plates. Oh, terrible. Terrible. Anyway, sorry. This is what I'm talking about, Adam. You're the only adult. Jesse's like, man, how are they going to do this? I'm like, yo, I've never thought of that. And you're like, here's how they might actually do that.
Right. Here's a reasonable explanation.
That's a silly name. That name's ridiculous.
We all bring our different things to the show, and that's why it works.
The lawsuit says that MLB purchased top-shelf all-risk policies to protect baseball against the risk of catastrophic economic losses. So they had these plans in case there was a pandemic, and then now a pandemic happened. The insurance companies are like, oh, well, I don't know.
I mean,
man out the insurance company.
It's so funny. Of course, the MLB would pay that because it's a great write-off too, right? That's a business cost that you write off, and for them, it makes a lot of sense in sheltering money from taxes. But beyond that, it's funny to me that the insurance companies would actually fight this because it may end up costing them even more if you've got a case that's like egregious, right? A case that is wasting the court's time. And to me, I mean, it's somewhat tough to argue, but there's a chance here that if the MLB wins, they also win cost, meaning that whatever it costs them to hire the lawyers and spend the time and put the lawsuit together, and this could go on for years. But at the end of it, the insurance company could be on the hook for that too. And they could, in certain cases, I think in law, and to our lawyer friends, please reach out and correct me if I'm wrong. If a lawyer is found to be misleading a client a little bit or pushing them to do something that they're never going to win, the opposing counsel can actually go after that lawyer and make that lawyer specifically pay for it.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, it's a risky position. Like being a lawyer is not, I know everybody like universally, the joke about lawyers, but it's not it's a pretty risky profession in certain regards for sure. And I think it'll be interesting to watch this MLB case because I think there's going to be a lot of precedent setting with this. There's going to be a lot more companies that are not sports companies that are boring. We make toilets, like something like that, which they're going to go after the insurance companies for the money that they paid into a policy for. And the insurance companies are going to say, sorry, you're going to have to fight us for that.
The toilet and casualty company.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be
interstate toilet and casualty.
2021 is going to be very interesting for that, I think. Anyway. Yeah. Interstate Fire and Casualty and Toilet Company. We dip you in the toilet so that you're no longer on fire.
Interstate if you burn or die company. Like it's a horrible name.
It's an aggressive name.
Yes.
They might be like an old-timey company and they were like one of the first ones, right?
Yeah. Back in the day, you had to be extremely specific.
Yeah.
It's like, what do
rebrand? Rebrand.
Goods, tobacco.
ING Direct is Tangerine. You can rebrand. Come on, man. Yeah. That's no. I'm not feeling Interstate Fire and Casualty Company.
The other thing, don't worry about the advertising on the helmets. You know what I would like it to do, though? I would really like to talk. If we could get that advertising on helmets to lower the tickets for the game, that would be super duper.
LMAO, Adam. LMAO.
So what do we know about taxi squads, Guy? What do we know about taxi squads?
They all have a driver's license. They don't like Uber squads.
Good. I'm just gonna say there are cameras. Matt Duchene's driving.
Yeah.
No, in all honesty, do we know anything about how that's going to work? Have we heard anything specifically about that?
Okay, so here's the thing. I know for a fact they have posted that information. But so much has broken over the last few days, and this relates to what we started the show with. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I haven't bloody seen it. There's too much. I hate the way this has happened.
You guys want me to read it?
Yes, please. For the love of God. That was me. That was called dragging.
So here is the taxi squad plan as outlined by Cap Friendly in very nicely bulleted form.
Oh, wonderful.
So thank you to them. Minimum 4 players to a maximum of 6 players. Waivers are required for players who would require waivers to be loaned to the minors.
Stupid.
Recalls for NHL games must occur before 5 p.m. Eastern.
No, Jesse, I need you to back up.
Okay.
I need you to back up. Can you read that 2 bullets ago one more time?
So bullet number 2 was waivers are required for players who would require waivers to be loaned to the minors.
Stupid.
If you have a player who requires waivers on your roster, but then need to move them to your taxi squad, that requires waivers?
Yes, of what it sounds like.
So here's the funny part. Okay, so I'm gonna put a scenario in front of you that is very familiar to Leaf fans. Let's say Freddie Anderson and Jack Johnson both go down with COVID. Okay, don't want that to happen. Let's say they do.
Jack Campbell, don't put that evil on me, Adam.
Not Jack Johnson, Jack Campbell.
Right.
So then the Leafs try to call Aaron Dell, and the opposing team says, "Yoink, we claim him."
No, goalies are not subject to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Because that would have been a hell of a scenario.
Yeah,
that would be a boss freaking move. That's a Lou Lamoriello move. Oh, you're going to call up a goalie? We're going to claim him.
No, goalies can't be subject to these rules because like
that
you just said,
fun.
They thought of that.
Okay, all right, fine. I call that, that's a Lou rule for sure. They know he would have done it.
Okay.
Yeah, it says in brackets, excludes goalies if less than 2 goalies are available to play for the team.
Okay.
So there you go. Recalls must occur before 5 p.m. 1 goalie required on the taxi squad for teams with less than 3 goalies on the active roster. Last day of training camp is the first day players can be loaned to the taxi squad. Taxi squad dissolves when the season ends. Taxi squad members can practice with the team, join team activities, travel with the team. Not required, though. Taxi squad members cannot practice or join activities other than those with the NHL team. AHL team activities, for example, are not permitted. If a taxi squad player is deemed unfit to play, injury, illness, COVID isolation, etc., the team can request they do not count towards the 6-player limit. Cap hit, effective on the team's cap hit while on the taxi squad, is the equivalent to if the player were playing in the minors. So, bracket, buried cap hit. Injuries?
Just make it 0. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, stupid. Just make it 0, you a-holes.
Guys, absolutely no one planned for this to happen. Like,
they're complicating it a little.
Yes,
just make it fucking 0. It's 1 season.
I don't get that.
I'll continue. There's a couple more points. Injuries. Players injured while on the taxi squad are assumed to have been injured while in the minors. Compensation. 1-way contract, standard NHL salary rate. 2-way contract, minors salary. There you go.
So if you try to bury Austin Matthews on the taxi squad, you're only saving $925,000 on the cap.
Is that how that would
Austin
work?
Matthews had a 2-way contract. Then, like I think Boyd, is it Trevor Boyd? Travis Boyd?
Travis.
Travis Boyd, I think he's got a 2-way deal, doesn't he? And then it would be different for him, I think, because he gets paid one way and one the other.
Travis Boyd has his minor salary is $700,000.
Oh, then it's variable, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But okay, well,
that's another interesting wrinkle with Nick Robertson is he costs more than minimum.
Yep.
He's 850.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, 821 against the cap.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, just a little thing. Just a little thing. Dude, this is going to get real convoluted and complicated real fast.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just don't know why they didn't make it 0, but I guess they were worried about the rich teams. But I'm like, you know what? At that point, it's like just have the 6 guys. Like, I don't know. Just have them. Max out your guys. Have them there. You don't know. Like with COVID, you just don't know. Like, what are we doing?
Well, one guy gets it, let's say. You're going to have to isolate God knows how many.
Yeah.
And you're going to empty out. I wonder how many times this season a team is going to empty out their taxi squad in a day. Like single day.
I wonder too. That's a good question, Steve. The thing is, the NFL has a COVID exemption list. I'm surprised we don't have that in the NHL.
The NFL also has rosters of 1 million people.
I know, but if you had a COVID exemption list, what I mean is if Austin Matthews gets COVID again, then he would have to sit on the COVID exemption list and the Leafs save the cap, or if it's any other star player or whatever, then they sit on the COVID exemption list until they're done. But it doesn't seem like that exists unless unless it's LTIR. Like, I don't know.
It said, so I read earlier, they go on LTIR.
Okay.
So it just acts like an injury. But when you're on LTIR, you can't come off it. It's 28 days or 10 games. So once you hit LTIR, you're on there for a minimum of 10 games. Now, 10 games isn't, the same length.
Knock that off.
10 games, and I'm all phlegmy because I'm drinking black coffee. I'm sorry. Isn't the same as like a regular season, because 10 games here might be like 15 days.
Yeah.
So you'll come off of that a lot faster, but it's still, there's a minimum for LTIR.
Don't want anyone going on LTIR right before the playoffs. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Or at all. The season's too damn short.
Yeah, it's a lot. They could have shortened that. Maybe they did, and we've missed it. But anyway, long story short, pretty good plan. Excited to get going. I think exhausted before the season even started. So I think that's why, it's good for us, because we're going to, kick it into high gear here at as of the week of January 13th, which we're all, very excited about. Back to 2 shows a week. But until then, we're going to take next week off, and then we'll be back that first week in January. And I think what's important is that we have something to look forward to in 2021. The vaccines are coming. Everybody says it's going to be a tough winter. Well, here's the deal. We've got NBA back. We've got hockey back. We've got lots of great things to sort of look forward to and keep us stapled to our couch. And then hopefully by, at least Canada's supposed to get of the new Moderna vaccine, it's 40 million doses, which is good enough for 20 million people. And I think they got 70 million of the Pfizer, which is for 35. And by the way, we only have 36 million people. So we can dose people multiple times if we need to. And that's really great for us. The United States probably has, I don't know what their contingency plans are, but I'm sure they have it pretty much covered. So, I was reading an article in the Globe and Mail the other day that says by April, 50% of Canadians could be vaccinated already, should they choose. And
they're hoping for all by
July. September. Yeah, that is considering how long 2020 has felt, right? We could do 3 more months. I can lock down for 3 more months. The only thing I'm sad about is the local businesses that are really suffering right now. If you got a local business, if you're in a lockdown position like we are, try any way that you can to support it, whether it's curbside. I think they were even in Ontario looking at getting rid of curbside. And it's okay, so they're just going to shut their doors.
Reach out, guys. Reach out. We need to know who you are. We need to know.
If we can help you on the show, if we can advertise you, we would love to shout you out at the beginning of each show and sort that out in 2021. And also let's just reach out, by the way, Steve Dangle Podcast at gmail.com. And then beyond that, I was talking on the phone, and I won't say who, but there's a major retailer, a major international retailer in Toronto that I was getting a gift card for somebody. And they said to me, hey, by the way, we're shutting down for the entire month of January. They're just shutting the store down. And they said the gift card won't even work online. So just so you know, the person that gets this gift card will not be able to use it online. We'll have to wait till February.
Did you say, hey, I don't want your gift card
Well,
anymore?
I figured, they can wait four weeks. I'm still doing it. But the reality of it.
I would absolutely not have bought it.
No.
Oh, I don't care. What they're going to be fine. If they wait till February, they'll be fine.
Okay.
Trust me, it's the gift card they want. If I was I'm not sure. No.
I trust it.
Yeah,
okay, I believe you.
Don't worry about the quality of the gift. Let's focus on the retailer.
Here is the gift card.
Jesus.
Yes.
Okay. Was it a piece of plastic? Did it come wrapped? What was the envelope it was in?
Herding cats with you two. Honestly, it's crazy sometimes.
We keep you on your toes.
But have you considered this point? I love you guys. So yeah. Anyway, long story short, there's going to be a lot of that, and so we've got hockey, we've got basketball, we're getting baseball in the spring. Chances are we'll be able to go see a baseball game this year, see it live. And I know in certain states you could, but we couldn't here. That would be really great. And
safely see it live.
Live.
Sorry for the confusion.
And I want to go see a Steelers game, even though their season is melting away in front of them. I want to go see a Steelers game next fall. And I just give me the vaccine and let's go.
Are they? It was wanting it with the whole season.
Yeah, they are. They're just Steve. You know what though? They got away with a lot of shit they shouldn't have. It's it's like that 2013 Leafs team. There's a lot of stuff that they kind of the ball went their way.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, long story short, we will do the press conference now, and it'll be a bit extended. We got about 20 minutes. Let's do this.
Oh,
Let me get a bubbly. Hang on.
Well, here. Well, okay. While he gets a bubbly, I just want to do a quick prayer for Chris Johnston's thumbs.
what?
I'm looking at his Twitter timeline and just the volume, just the volume of news is staggering. He tweeted this. Each of the NHL unrestricted free agents to sign contracts in recent days has done so on a 1-year term. Eric Holla in Nashville, Granlund in Nashville, Duclair in Florida, Frolik in Montreal, Sherry in Washington is an interesting one, and Kajula in Arizona.
Which I think was a good pickup for Arizona, by the way. $700,000 for Drake Kajula?
I like him. I like it. He's one of those, the cap screws up the perception of a lot of guys and makes you think they're not NHL players. I think he's fine. And this is how long playoff injuries can linger. Alex Nylander had successful surgery on Monday to repair a meniscus tear in his left knee. And then CJ added, it's a playoff injury that lingered and eventually required surgery. And the Blackhawks were done like at the beginning, right? Like August?
Yeah.
Something like that, or the beginning of September. Which are we doing Kucherov?
If you want
potential
to.
with Kucherov there. So, okay, before we get to the press conference, fascinating thing going on here. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they re-signed Cernak, they re-signed Volkov. Sergachev was done a little while ago. They're wildly over the salary cap, and they're almost over the offseason salary cap, and they still have to re-sign Anthony Cirelli. So everyone's like, how the hell are they going to do this? The rumor is that Nikita Kucherov, whose cap hit I think is 9, could get placed on LTIR. So what I saw was Travis Yost. He's like, okay, the fact that people think the Tampa Bay Lightning would put their 2 years ago MVP on LTIR just to be cap compliant proves how badly we need hockey. I think all it proves is the heinous shit so many players play through that if it makes sense for them, they can just pull it out of a hat, shut it down, and get surgery or whatever they need. You know what I mean? Like
also,
Evander Kane a few years ago was perfectly happy to play the rest of the season. And then Dustin Byfuglien throws his tracksuit in the shower and he goes, you know what? The shoulder, I got to get it fixed. Fuck you guys. And so he goes and he gets it fixed.
They're always in a perpetual state of, hey, maybe I could get surgery on this.
Henrik Lundqvist had a heart condition most of his career. It just came out. But it no longer makes sense for him to play. So
in a lot of cases, too, surgery is the option that will come back and bite you later. Like it could be a 6-month recovery with a surgery, but an 18-month if you rehabbed it. But overall, in the long term, rehabbing it would be better.
That's why McDavid rehabbed.
McDavid, yeah. That was the whole Sportsnet feature. It was fantastic.
So it's interesting with that.
What a mutant! Like just that's a crazy story.
Yeah, that's why it makes me laugh when, like, parents, there's some rich parents in Toronto. I'm not sure if you know that, and they'll take their kids and they'll put them in like training programs at like 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about skill development. I'm talking about weight training, and which an 8-year-old shouldn't be doing. But what's funny about it is that the hope is that, they'll make the NHL, blah, blah, blah. The kids that are going to make the NHL, pretty much you almost know already. Like it's not, and I know there are some late bloomers and stuff like that, but as well as I do, look at Erik Karlsson, built different with that Achilles injury way back.
Well, and he just healed up. I mean, there's been some long-term effects, but the speed at which he recovered. Stamkos's bones. He just mended. He was in a walking boot in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. A femur. Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Oh, well, that was a different break. He broke a lot of stuff.
He's had some.
By the way, I want to quickly mention this. And this is not going to make me popular, but here we go. Can we pump the brakes on the Montreal Canadiens or a Stanley Cup contender?
Oh, that's what you were
Can we pump the brakes on that? So now, to be fair to NBC, they put together 6 cool matchups that would be great because these teams would never play each other in the finals because they're in the same conference. Fair. And the last matchup was Montreal-Boston, which from an original 6 perspective, I get. But what the hell are you talking about? Listen, Montreal had 4 good games, 4 really good games against the Penguins, right? Really good games. And then had a pretty good, I think it was Philly in the first round.
Yeah, 6-game series. They played them real tight. Really good, really good. And they've made some great additions this year, I think. I mean, I think especially the Toffoli one. Well, I don't think we talk enough about Tyler Toffoli and what he's going to do for them. And the young guys getting older.
Josh Anderson is also big, although that was a hell of an injury, but we'll see. And it's a hell of a contract. But can we just wait until we see them play before we go lumping them in? You could say, well, we should do that with the Leafs too. You're absolutely right. The Leafs have earned nothing and done nothing. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Right. Well,
I would agree with that assertion. But let's not pretend that 23rd place Montreal is all of a sudden in the conversation for Stanley Cup just yet.
Well, yeah, a few years ago you gave the Leafs the title. Yeah, and look how it worked out. It didn't.
It didn't work out too well. We've learned. and my point in all of this is Montreal could be a much better team and should be a much better team. But you saw...
I have them in the playoffs.
I have them in the playoffs too, but you saw what Dallas and Tampa were doing. Yeah. You saw what Vegas has done. Do you put them in that category? Not yet. Not yet. Those teams are, and with the exception, Dallas is in and out, but perennially top teams in the NHL. It's tough to get there. And I just think it's a little much to think Montreal all of a sudden magically is going to be Stanley Cup Finals. I could be wrong. Could be eating my words. I'm happy to do so.
Canadian division is going to be so good, man.
It's going to be sick. It's going
to be so
good.
But
let's maybe wait and see if the team gels.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't wait.
That's fair.
I really can't wait. It's going to be the next 4 months in this country are going to be war.
It's fun.
It's just going to be, fun war.
And we get to see Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl 10 times. How great is that?
Oh, I mean, Freddie Anderson might not agree, but I think it's pretty great.
It's great.
Awesome. What I was saying this, so I was a guest on the Wing Wheel podcast yesterday.
Who are they?
Some dicks.
Love those guys.
Talk about the Red Wings all the time. But I was talking about the Canadian division and having to play these teams so many times. And it's going to force the Leafs to get good at something that they've struggled with, which is seeing the same teams in a series, right? It's going to build rivalries. It's going to build nastiness. I think these are going to be competitive, physical games. And, you might go, well, why is that good for them? They struggle at it. No. They're either going to get good at it or fail anyway.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'd rather them, if they fail at it, just go ahead and miss the playoffs and don't waste our time.
And let's be honest here. Wayne Simmons is going to war, and I like it.
Wayne Simmons is going to war. Joe Thornton.
Leafs.
No, I don't want.
No, but Wayne Simmons is going to war. It's Wayne.
Oh, I know.
Bogosian will be fun too, but Wayne Simmons. Come on.
No, it's Wayne Simmons' job is not to fight for everybody.
No,
it's to drag everybody into the fight.
Well, it's also to get the other team to commit to one.
That too.
Right? To get them off their feet. Like what Leo Komarov used to do. A little poke here, a little slash there. Other player retaliates, they get the penalty. We don't have a player that does that. Not one player.
The Last Dance, they were talking about Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
And just listen. Just fight. We'll be there with you. Just fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what the leadership group on this team has to do. Kiprio, was it on this show or on his own show because I was talking about guys on the Leafs I would love to see just throw a punch once to stick up for themselves? Mitch, Austin.
I think that was his show.
He said, you know who I'd love to see? John Tavares.
Wow.
It's never even occurred to me. But if Tavares just one day threw off his gloves, who is sitting, forget who's not watching, who's sitting through that? I'm standing up and pressing my face to the television like it's a toy store before Christmas.
Even Matt used to do that. Matt's used to do that. He'd get people in a headlock. That was always
every now and then. You know why? Because Matt's was 6'5" and doesn't need to take your shit. I want to see JT do it just once. Crosby buys himself room once every 2 seasons. You know what I mean? And it'll be a weird fight. I'm fighting Matt Niskanen, and you go, what? Cool. Go look at Sidney Crosby's fight card. It's all weird names, but there are names on it. You got to put some names on it.
Okay, love that. Now let's do the press conference.
Sorry.
One more thing. We also have to shout out the NWHL.
Oh yeah.
Do you have
So
that news there, Adam?
big television deal with the NWHL. They're getting NBC in the States, CBC in Canada.
That's awesome.
Fully broadcast, which is awesome. Great news.
That's February 4th and 5th for the Isabel Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick. That's gonna be awesome. I gotta stop talking about Digit Murphy and get her on.
Yep. Would love that.
Yeah, she needs to be on the show. Head coach of the Toronto Six.
Isn't she the head coach, GM, president,
Head coach
Prime
and a
Minister,
bunch of other stuff. of the
Parliament,
Toronto Six.
Senate? You know.
Oh yeah, I am the Senate. Digit Murphy, Michael Scott.
All right. Press conference time.
All right. So first question comes from JD Geldert. He wants to know.
Elder.
Is this a burner account?
I don't think so.
You make that name up?
Eggnog, good or bad?
It's good. It's real
Nah.
good. Yeah.
No.
Yo, listen, sugar milk. I'm in. I'm in on the sugar milk.
You enjoy eggnog like just drinking in a glass?
Like,
Adam left.
do you put rum in it? Okay, well, I'll answer that.
Adam keeps leaving mid-podcast.
Eggnog is good for like one. You can have one. Oh, there you go.
All right.
Oh, in Adam's fridge. Eggnog that he's chugging. That's friggin' gross.
Oh, no.
Bro, that's so gross.
Delicious.
Did you pull that? Was that next to exactly 3 chicken fingers, Adam? And a bottle of Cholula hot sauce? Get a life. Get a hold of yourself.
Just so we're clear, I went grocery shopping after that, okay?
Yeah, good.
Oh my god.
Eggnog good in things, but drinking it on its own isn't very satisfying.
You guys are wrong. It's delicious. Delicious.
I don't know.
I think you boys gonna have some sketch.
That's kind of gross that you just did that, Adam.
Yeah, man.
I'd do more. I wish there was more. I wish there was more there. I would drink more.
Jesse, there is a 20-minute time limit on the rest of the show because Adam's just.
Yeah, I'm worried about your stomach. All right.
All right, I'm full. I'm on eggnog.
Next question. This is from @OJetsO on Twitter. Why did Steve respond so rudely when Andrew Berkshire brought his child a children's toy?
Oh.
What happened here, Steve?
Well, Osho, or your name, Andrew Berkshire. Well, we've had a discussion on the show what the best starter Pokemon was, and we're not talking about all your goofy starter Pokemon. We're talking about the original ones. Okay. We're talking about Charmander. We're talking about Squirtle. We're talking
sounding like Stone Cold Steve Austin here right now.
One Charmander, one Squirtle,
what?
A cheeseburger,
what?
Bulbasaur,
what?
And I said Squirtle's the best because I prefer Squirtle. Adam and Jesse are heathens who prefer Charmander.
Adam, are you also Charmander?
No, I'm a Squirtle guy.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm all Squirtle.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Adam,
Berkshire
for slandering
and
your good
I
name.
Are Charmander.
Idiots. So Berkshire sent my child a Charmander, and all he does is he just like looks at it and then drops it because he's 6 months old. But I sent a Squirtle to Berkshire, and it's the talk of the town in the Berkshire house. His kids love it, and there's a reason for it. They have good taste, better than their dads. They must take after their mom.
Do they sell Squirtle Squad Squirtles? Because I want the one with the sunglasses.
Surely. Somewhere.
I'm going to look for that for Evie.
I wanted to find a Squirtle that came from the same series as the Charmander that he got for Leo, and I also wanted to make sure it would get to his house before Christmas.
Right. Fair enough.
For less than $100. There was one, it was like shipping from Australia, $112. I'm like, for a doll?
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's insane.
Next question comes from 265 kilometers on Twitter.
I dropped the mic.
Hi, Dan.
Dan says, I know the Leafs have too many forwards and it might be overkill, but how great would it be if Kyle Dubas was unwrapping a Corey Perry on a league min on Christmas Day?
Your boy would have a lot of videos to delete and a Corey Perry jersey to buy because I've never seen him do anything untoward, Ever? Remember that time Pavel Datsyuk instigated a fight with Corey Perry and then sucker punched him? I do. That's how I would look at it.
Would you like to know what I have heard? Unverified.
Oh.
Unverified. So I'm not Chris Johnston. Don't quote me. But I have heard that they spoke, but that it was sort of like we got room for Simmons or Perry, and Simmons is number one on our list. So if we can get Simmons, we're going to get him.
You think Taxi Squad changes that?
I don't know, but I think Corey Perry wanted to be a Leaf. I'm almost positive from what I heard, I'm almost positive Corey Perry wanted to be a Leaf. So I don't know.
Well, so I tweeted this October 6th. I go, you have two players. Both are right shooting right wingers whose production is tanked due to injuries, but both are still #not fun to play against. One is age 32, had 8 goals and 17 assists for 25 points in 68 games last season. Or the other is age 35 with 5 goals, 16 assists, 21 points in 57 games last year. Who do you pick?
32.
86.2% of voters picked the 32-year-old. The 32-year-old is Wayne Simmons. The 35-year-old is Corey Perry.
Yep.
So even though Corey Perry his Stanley Cup final was fantastic. He was good in the playoffs.
Great.
He didn't have a good season, guys. He didn't. So what do you go with? It's a tough call, but like every year teams go and throw a bunch of money at a guy who, had a good playoff series and then it never works out. Like, look at the Edmonton Oilers after the 2006 Stanley Cup final. They handed all those guys big deals. And like, I think of guys who remember Sean Bergenheim?
Yep.
Was like unstoppable for one playoff run and then was just kind of Sean Bergenheim, and that's fine. But Corey Perry, man, 35. It's tough.
Yep.
It's
Pushing
tough.
it.
Room for one of those on the team.
Right.
Joe, that's it. Spets has got softer miles. Anyway.
Next question. This one, I'm going to direct it to Steve. So, Steve, Adam, you're not allowed to weigh in here. This is from Kono LMO16 on Twitter. Who would win in an ass-off, Kyle Lowry or Adam Wild?
Kyle Lowry. Come on now.
It's a good butt.
No, Kyle, it's a good butt, but it's a versatile butt. It's a championship-winning butt. I love Adam, but that thing is it's aesthetic. That ass isn't in the NBA.
It's not functional. It's not a functional ass.
It's an aesthetic ass. It's not. Oh, it's functional, but it's not built for an 82-game NBA season.
But are the hockey miles it endured harder miles
than the average bear? But you're asking me to compare him to Kyle Lowry?
Yeah. No.
Come on now. Listen, Adam, please do not take this the wrong way.
I won't.
Adam's ass to asses is what Jake Paul is to boxing. Jake Paul is a better boxer than you or I. He's a better boxer than most people. He's not a better boxer than professional boxers. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. That's a good comparison.
Yeah. So Adam, if I saw Adam walking down the street, I'm looking. But I'm not like. Also, I want him to be a minute eating point guard on the Raptors.
Yeah, fair.
Now I'm uncomfortable. Let's move on.
That was a deep dive.
Yeah. Well, Adam, we spent a lot of time together.
All right. Next question. Adam, you're allowed to weigh in again.
Okay.
This is from @_AlecR7. One rational / hot take prediction for the Leafs upcoming season. Adam, you're up first. Hot take for the Leafs this year.
Boy. They're the second best team in the Canadian division. Is that a hot take?
No.
Yeah,
No.
It's
A hot take would be like they miss.
They're a second best team. Sorry. The Leafs are going to be the second best team in the Canadian division, and they're going to the second round.
So that's mine. The playoff slump ends this year. They win at least a round.
Yeah, because it is a playoff. I mean, they didn't even make the playoffs, so that's a slump too. They need to bust that slump first.
There's that. They will, and they'll make the first round, and they will win it. And then who knows?
By the way, for those asking, I think Calgary or Vancouver might be ahead of them. I also think Edmonton's got an outside shot because, but the thing with Edmonton that you always have to do when you're doing the percentages is what if one of those guys gets injured? They're still that guy, but it's a little less dominant, right? We can admit that. So it's always like, I don't know. I mean, they're pretty freaking amazing, but
I got to thank the Raptors for raising Toronto sports' bar. Because, I want the Leafs to win a series, and I'll be happy. And it'll be fleeting if they lose in the second round. That's not why we watch.
No.
And the reigning semi-finalists. Not why we watch.
No.
Like Blue Jackets fans will have that series against Tampa forever.
Yeah.
And they'll look back at it, and it'll make them smile. The Blue Jays beating the Rangers, the Texas Rangers, the bat flip, will always have that. They didn't win the World Series. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you'll have those fond memories of that playoff win, but let's get a championship, boys. Let's go.
Yeah. Did you see Tom Brady's tweet recently of the AFC finalist banner of the Indianapolis Colts?
No.
All right. So Tony Dungy, longtime Colts head coach, he was on a show and he said that Tom Brady didn't crack the top 6 quarterbacks in terms of difficulty when he was coaching. So he's like, there's 5 other guys I could name who are harder to coach against. And then the clip went viral on Twitter, and Tom Brady responded on Twitter, and he tweeted out a photo of in the Colts arena. They have a banner that says AFC finalists, and it's like 2014, the year they lost to Brady. I forget what year it was, but it's whatever year they lost to Brady.
I hope a banner, coach. That's fucking.
Is that a real banner, or did he Photoshop it?
It's a real banner hanging in their arena.
That's a
in
dunk.
Their stadium. So
that's a
he
dunk.
Dunked on them hard. And I was like, Tom Brady, when did you get a personality? This is fun.
Yeah.
Man, you hang that in the bedroom of an 8-year-old, not from your NFL team's stadium.
And they've won championships. They got 8 championships.
Yes. Oh, that's terrible.
I got to say that one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen was Tom Brady would be so cool if he wasn't so fucking weird. Like, right? Like, he's weird, man. He's really weird. Oh, yeah. But there's something about him. You're like, I like you, but you're weird.
I would hang out with you, but you're a bit of a weirdo.
Yeah, maybe not for more than an hour. I don't want to get into why I can't eat mushrooms or something.
Did you invite Tom Brady to the party? Oh, like, he can come.
Yeah.
But he can also leave.
Hey man, if there's a party at all, Tom, I'll go to the party with Tom, and I think it'd be great because there'd be a party at all. I'd be happy. Well, I'll sit there and talk to him about the 6 different types of water in his book. I'm excited.
God, what a weird guy.
Weird guy.
You're wired though to pick the brains of weird people.
I love that.
Isn't that why you're on the show?
Find me the weirdest one in the room, and you'll catch me with them all night.
Oh yeah. And you've already read their book?
I hope so. No, I've listened to their book. I've listened to their book.
You have to specify.
Different.
All right, you guys want another one?
Yeah.
All right, this is from @TML_Chandler. Do you guys have you done any work on the expansion draft and who the Leafs might be protecting?
No, because you'll get plenty of that from me. Trust me. I'll find a way to yell and scream about the Leafs losing Adam Brooks.
Can I be honest with you? I think it's just too early for me to care. I think that's why I haven't even brought it up. Like, I know there's some articles already kind of circulating, and the chances are the Leafs are going to lose a pretty good player, Justin Hall, Travis Dermott, something like that. But to be honest with you, I want to talk about games. We've spent most of 2020 talking about not games, and I just would love to talk about a game. I want to talk about the drama of 2 teams playing each other and somebody going home a loser and somebody going home a winner. I can't wait for that.
I watched
so sick of speculation.
I watched every second of the Brooklyn Golden State game yesterday because I was just like, this is NBA basketball that counts, and it's a blowout, and I don't even care because it's real basketball.
Yes.
Like I'm desperate for sports to be back.
Katie didn't play, right?
Oh, he played. He was unbelievable. He's going to win the MVP this season. That's my bet for the year. He looks fantastic.
Did Kyrie sage the floor again? Or?
he saged before the game, and he was also really good during it. Brooklyn looks really good.
Kyrie seems like one of your friends is like, man, you're so talented, but you're such a knob. Like be so cool if he wasn't so weird.
I've read enough about him and watched enough about him that you tolerate Kyrie. That is Phil Kessel. That's Phil Kessel.
Like he's going after LeBron and stuff, and I love LeBron. I think LeBron rules. Like don't mess
Kessel went after Malkin. And we still loved him.
I guess.
Kyrie Irving is better at basketball than Phil Kessel is at hockey, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
way better.
They're both champions. They're both champions and had significant roles in their championship. I think that's a guy you figure it out with.
Okay.
Kyrie, though, he has a tendency to bring down his team around him. That's the only thing with his outbursts.
I think Durant manages that, though. I don't think the Celtics were built to handle Kyrie.
I don't think Kyrie's the one. I think he's the two.
Mm-hmm.
And he is.
Yeah, and I think Durant being there, I think, is going to be like... But Durant's a little dramatic, too, from time to time. Like, I mean, he's got... What has he got? 6 burners that he admits to?
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, I'm on...
Kyrie's comments about LeBron came on Durant's podcast when they were talking together, So he gave him the platform to go spew the "I never played with a guy who could make the last shot" comments, So
like, come on, yes,
what a ridiculous thing.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
God, the NBA, the drama's it's so much better. I'm really getting addicted.
Jesse sent us a James Harden article that we encourage you to read.
Oh!
And the James, it's basically what happened with Houston and James and how for like 8 years, James Harden has had all the last calls on when they practice, personnel decisions. It sounds a little like what the Sens were hinting Erik Karlsson was like in Ottawa, right? There was a little hint of that,
really?
maybe to a much lesser extent. But yeah, there was like talk of like, when he left, there were some reports that players were excited that they would just get to practice and not have Eric decide when they're practicing.
I think with Harden, there's a little bit more at play than the practices.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not trying to compare apples to apples there. But one thing I do think is weird is that the Raptors are apparently in on Harden, which he hasn't said he would accept a trade to the Raptors anyway. But
I don't believe that.
What are they going to do? That they're going to they made the right concessions for Kawhi. They made the right concessions for Kawhi. They got their championship. To me, James Harden is the kind of guy where it's like you have to make every concession or he won't play.
No, they made the right concessions for the right player.
He threw a basketball at a rookie the other day.
And then went to the Rippers.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. People are like, well, I don't like. Well, there were people there that saw it, and then there's other people like, well, I need to see video, otherwise I don't believe it. It's like, well,
how would you?
The only thing with acquiring James Harden for the Raptors is you do get him for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's a guaranteed 50-win team. Like, it's not like he can't lead a team on his own and bring it to a conference finals, which he did, and they lost terribly to Golden State. But you're guaranteed
the DeRozan Raps. So they're
better than the DeRozan.
Way better.
They went to the conference final and were a 50-win team.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah,
they go every time.
This is an MVP. This is one of the best scorers of all time.
And then, when Kyle's contract's up next year and you got a max slot available, can you bring Kawhi? Can you bring like someone like you can
does Siakam mature,
Yeah.
Or are you giving him up? I don't know.
God, interesting. Basketball. Yeah, basketball's amazing.
I love it now.
It's such an incredible sport. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. And then are you going to tolerate him wanting to go to strip clubs every night?
Right.
Do you want to deal with that?
All of the strip clubs in Toronto have unfortunately started to close, so maybe he'd keep them in business. Like, I'm pretty sure For Your Eyes is gone, which is where all the hockey players used to go. And I know Zanzibar and Brass Rail probably on the edge. And like, it's not a huge strip club scene here.
You imagine, wow. Zanzibar is like, that's iconic. Like an aesthetic part of the city.
Yes.
Like, because you can see it from space.
It's a historic sign. It's all it looks like, guys, if you've never seen the Zanzibar sign at Toronto, it looks like Vegas in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like light bulb after light bulb after light bulb, blue, like blue and yellow and white and everything that's going to get your attention.
Isn't it in a scene from the Hulk? There's a scene from the Hulk where he's running down the street at another bigger, different version of himself. I can't remember the name of that character. What?
Which Hulk though? The Ruffalo Hulk, the Ed Norton Hulk, the other
That's
Hulk.
the problem.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's more Hulks than Spider-Mans, and there's too many of those.
Yeah, and they're going to be all three of them in the next movie.
Oh, wonderful. That makes sense. That's great. That makes perfect sense. How's his uncle? Like, I've seen the story the same way 1,000 times.
Does he get shot by a guy?
When he's out looking
does Ben get shot by a guy when he's out looking for
by the Joker?
Does Peter seem mad? Angry? Yeah, it's outside the opera. Does Peter seem mad? Is he upset?
Does he give you an upside down smooch?
Yeah, actually, the new Spider-Man. I don't think there's Uncle Ben at all. Like he's just not there. They didn't even include him. But like we've done the death story. Yeah, we get it. He dies. It's just his.
Sorry, spoiler. Sorry, guys.
You guys are being mean to the story of Spider-Man.
Oh man.
I'm not here for it.
No, Spider-Man is that friend. I relate to Spider-Man because Spider-Man is that friend who goes, "Hey, did I ever tell you about followed by a story you've heard 5 times?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the same thing over and over again.
Here's a hot take. I really enjoyed the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. There you go. I thought him and Emma Stone were adorable in that first movie.
The world would not agree with you.
I don't care. I like Transformers too. So.
Because you got to watch it with the raw crush. You got to watch it with that mind.
Yeah.
The moment when I learned to turn my brain off at the theater is when I started really enjoying movies.
Enjoying life a little bit. Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. Anyway.
Final question?
Final
question comes from @Josh Prokshek on Twitter. You're a part of the Leafs Secret Santa. Who do you want to buy a gift for, and what are you getting them?
This is easy.
Zach Hyman, because one time I asked him what he wanted for Christmas because I forgot he was Jewish.
Oh my God.
What do I want for Christmas? For you to do your research.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
And he answered the question because he's a gentleman.
God bless him.
Happy Hanukkah. Oh God. I'm so stupid.
Fucking amazing.
I've never heard that story.
How have you never told that?
I thought I told it.
Can you elaborate? Where was this? What happened?
So no, I did. I was filling in for Sofia Jurcevic, and I got to do sometimes I got to do the Leafs room, very rarely, but I usually did the visiting room when she wasn't available to do it. Then one of the very few times I got to do the Leafs room, it was right around Christmas, and they wanted to do a Christmas feature where, you just go around and go, what do you want for Christmas? And everyone, I think we did Connor Carrick and Frank Corrado, and I think Mitch Marner was in there, Nikita Zaitsev. It was the 16-17 team, I think. And I just asked Zach Hyman, and he just sort of goes, well, I think I'd like, and then he went on with like the things he would like. And it was like a few days later, it was one of those moments, like shower moments, where you just go, oh, yes, like in the middle of and I realized what I had done. I'm like, you moron, you idiots. Yeah. So I'll never live that down.
I think I would like to get Jack Campbell in the Secret Santa. However, he would want peace on Earth, and that would be very hard to deliver on because Jack Campbell is a nice man. So I love Jack. I like Jack Campbell. I'm starting to have a big crush on Jack Campbell, like a little bit of a man crush. He's pretty wicked. So also a great commenter on Instagram. Can we say that?
Oh yeah.
He's an elite commenter. He's pretty good.
So what would you get him?
Peace on Earth. What
it has to be something you can actually get.
What would I get Jack Campbell? I would get Jack Campbell. I don't even know. I would get Jack Campbell a PS5, and he and I could play online together because we do things because we're friends. Jack Campbell and I are friends. I don't know if you know this or not. We are not friends. We've never
in this
met.
magical scenario.
But in this scenario,
yes,
Jack Campbell
we're all
and I are
friends
buddies.
with Jack Campbell.
That's right. Well, you could be friends with Jack Campbell and not know Jack Campbell, and I feel like Jack Campbell would be okay with that. He'd be like, "Yeah, we're friends. We don't know each other, but we are." He's just that kind of a guy.
I would like Ilya Mikheyev, and I would get him the world's nicest spoon.
Oh, I like that.
You always want to get someone something that they're going to use.
Yes.
And I would like to get Morgan Riley, and I would get him TJ Brody.
I love this. Yes. I love this. And Jesse, you have to answer it too.
Oh, I would get William Nylander, obviously.
Of course.
And I would get him a nice Sony SLR camera so that his Instagram pictures can always look incredible.
You could also get him prosciutto.
That's a very deep reference, Steve, but thank you.
That's how many people
90% of the people listening to the show get it.
No.
Prosciutto is like a big Nylander thing. Tweet at him if you get prosciutto.
How many people understood that?
We're about to find out.
Yeah, Tweet us if you didn't understand it too.
Okay, no, but a lot of people will understand, but what percentage is that?
Yeah.
5% of people? They're all going to tweet us, but...
The best.
Yes. Oh, here's a list. Russian hockey players, 20 to 1.
Let's break it down, you guys.
You know what? For Christmas, I'd like 2 new friends. How about that? For Christmas, I'd like 2 new friends who appreciate me. Here, let me just hang this up. Hope someone puts 2 new friends in it. Right there.
That was a good one, Jess.
Steve's hanging up his stocking.
Jesse, that was really, really good. By the way, this is the longest Jesse and I haven't seen each other for a long time.
It's true, yeah.
Jesse and I see each other most days. So, Jesse, I have to say it's a little weird going 3-4 days without seeing you.
Yeah, it's been
there was
couple days.
Until the pandemic hit, I think it was like every day for like 3 months, Jesse and I had seen each other. So, yeah,
Screw you.
I know.
Yeah, Steve, how does it feel not being a friend?
I just realized why I'm so hot. I went for a walk before this with Iggy, and I'm wearing pajama pants under sweatpants.
There you go.
As well as a Christmas sweater, so I'm dying right now. Also, screw you guys for actually seeing your friends. Damn it.
This was pre-pandemic. We don't see each other. We just work together. It's a meeting. It's not actually a hangout. So,
or is it a barbecue?
It's not a barbecue.
I've never been to a barbecue with you guys.
All right, we must wrap it up for the year. This was undoubtedly the toughest flipping year that we've ever had on this show. But the reality for us is it showed us who the real ones are, and the real ones are you. Thank you so much for continuing to listen. Even when for the majority of the year there was no hockey to talk about at all. There was a lot of stuff that happened this year: social upheaval, pandemic, so many other things. And thank you for coming back and hanging out with us through it all. And 2021 looks a lot better, but hey, 2020 looked pretty good too. And hopefully things kick off on time and we're ready to go. And by July, everybody's vaccinated and happy. All right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We love you.
Thanks for
Steve,
listening,
Jesse, anything to add? No.
Just thanks for listening. Be safe and have a happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
We'll see you before the New Year, actually. So
will we?
No, we will not.
There's no show next week. So, yeah,
There's no podcast next week, Steve.
Oh, there isn't? Well, then F you. I'd say happy holidays, but apparently I just wish Merry Christmas to everyone anyway. So have one or the other. Doesn't matter.
We're gonna
stay safe, everyone. Happy holidays. Bye.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.